What's up guys, it's Ian here, back today with another review video, and today I'm bringing you a comparison between the Reebok Nano 11 grip model, the Reebok Nano 10 Froening model with the Velcro thing, versus the Reebok Nano 10s. If you've watched my content for a little while now and you've seen me in the gym, you've probably noticed that the Reebok Nano 10s are one of my most used shoes. I actually own 3 pairs in different colors. The point of this video is to help you decide which one you might want to get. So at first glance, the bottom of the Reebok 10 and the Reebok Froening is actually identical. The only difference is in the uppers. But what I noticed upon putting on the Froening model is that it's actually somewhat significantly tighter. It might have a break-in period, but when you put on a brand new pair of just the stock Nano 10s, they feel a bit tight, but it's tightness created by extra padding around the inside of the upper of the shoe. Whereas the tightness created in the Nano 10 Froening model, it's a very plasticky kind of tightness and it pushes in on your foot. At first, when I tried on the Froening model, I felt like it was almost too small. Now that I've had it on for a few minutes, I think it feels a bit more comfortable. It also comes with the pull-on loop at the back part of the shoe. You really do have to force it on. So the upper is significantly different, has these kind of plastic details, the Velcro strip. Maybe the Velcro strips will help with squatting. I know that most main brand squatting shoes tend to have that Velcro mid-arch support. It remains to be seen if that helps or not. You can find these Froenings online pretty cheap now, around $80. The MSRP was around $150. So if you like the way they look, consider getting a pair. They're going to be pretty fundamentally similar to the Nano 10s. If you end up liking them, it's a good time to pick some up because they're really about the same price as the Nano 10s at this point. Same exact bottom of the shoe, just the top is a bit different. Now that we got the comparison between the Nano 10 normal version and the Nano 10 Froening out of the way, let's look at the Nano 11. I've been kind of twisting it a bit and looking at the bottom. Obviously they reworked the bottom of the shoe. If you look at this portion here, this black part, it's actually very squishy. So compared to the Nano 10, where the entire back part of the heel was a bit denser from the sides, this black part here is actually very soft. These shoes have an increased heel rise compared to the 10s. If you go forward more, this black part here is soft, and then this black part is very plasticky. This gray part here is also a harder rubber. I feel like this gray part here, the harder rubber, is basically the consistency of the entire back part of the sole that you get on the 10. I've heard that this shoe is generally a bit softer. I just wanted a black shoe so I could match with whatever outfit that I wanted to wear. I wanted at least one pair of the 11s just to try it on. They reworked the back of the heel as well. You can feel it presses back into the back of the calf a little bit more when you're standing up. I'm not sure if it's really going to be an issue because the material here is pretty soft. I would imagine that would just break in over time. The upper of this shoe is the grit model, supposedly tougher than the basic. Between the grit and the basic and the luxe model, pricing about the same, so I got the grit one. It's supposed to be a bit more durable, so I just decided to go with this model. Mostly discussed the differences in the lower part of the shoe between the Nano 11 and the 10s, but now let's talk about the upper a little bit. A few details that might go overlooked. On the Nano 9s, it had bunching issues where if you would cinch down the laces really tight, the material in the front portion of the upper would actually bunch up and kind of crease and maybe lead to some wearing issues, although I had never actually had any wear issues with the front part of my 9s. I just overwore them and they started to smell bad, so I bought other shoes, right? They never actually physically broke down on me, but they did have the bunching issues, which were not very aesthetic and maybe could lead to wear issues depending on the user. They've seemed to have solved the bunching issues with this shoe with these little cutouts right here. You can pull these pretty tight as long as you don't have a massively oversized shoe for your foot or anything, and it will not bunch up at the front. Also, it's pretty pliable. With the 10s, although, you know, they are one of my more favorite shoes recently, have three different pairs of them, the front of the upper is not very pliable, so if your toes get kind of bunched up in here, you really can't move them around. Your ability to push the toe up against the inside of the shoe is very limited. I've noticed even just with a few minutes of wearing the 11s, it's a much physically lighter shoe in the same size, but you can also push your toe up into the top of the upper. It lets you move around a bit more. They look narrower, but it doesn't really feel like your big toe is substantially pushed in more more. I feel like it really maintains about the same alignment as the 10, not as wide as the 9. So if you like the 9 more, maybe just buy more pairs of the 9s because they are wider with a bit more space for the big toe. Overall, it seems like Reebok is kind of going in the wrong direction as far as amount of toe space, but these have the same toe spacing as the 10s roughly, so it's not really a big change from the previous iteration. If you like the 9s more, you probably didn't even get the 10s or the 11s, so that doesn't matter. But this material is a lot more pliable. It allows you to move the toe around inside the shoe, kind of like lifting the toes against the inside of the shoe, whereas the 10s, you felt kind of more boxed in. It was like you try to lift your fingers and there's something pushing them down. So that's one of the biggest changes I've noticed in the upper here, you know, besides obviously the heel cup and a few other details. It seems like the front portion of the upper is a lot more pliable. So that's something that maybe you would appreciate if you try to use this as an all-day shoe. It's a lot lighter, probably less stable. I've heard from a lot of people that they're not as good for lifting as the previous iteration. More of a comfort shoe. Really lost the CrossFit partnership. I actually don't see the CrossFit logo anywhere on it. Doesn't exist. On the 10s, it's right there on the toe. Those are some of the key differences between the uppers on the 10s versus the 11s. I'm going to stand up here and just give you kind of a 360 view of each of these shoes and how they look. So that way you can think about potentially getting them if you're interested. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found some of it useful. Thank you for watching, and as always, let me know what you'd like to see in the next review video. Comment down below. If it's something that I'd see myself reasonably getting, I'll make you a video on it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you for watching.